Hi everyone, it's Kevin at Bear Creek Honey. It's April 5th, 2019. It's about 41 degrees on this dreary April afternoon. The bees are not very active much at all today. I think they're just starting to wake up a little bit. It's almost noon. Supposed to get up to about 60 later this afternoon, so they might get a little bit more active, but it's supposed to rain all this weekend, so I'm not real sure how much activity we'll see from the bees today. Now we are about a month out from swarm season here in Wisconsin, I would guess, from the start of it anyways. You know, the bees have still got to brood up, and they're not going to run out of space anytime soon. But it always helps to be prepared. This hive right here on my right, which is sort of weak, was my swarm hive that I caught last August. They were very huge until just about March, and then they slowly disappeared and got down to about a frame and a half, 2 frames of bees, and that's what they still got right now. They're still pretty active, but they're on that borderline there where they can survive or not survive, just depending on how cold it gets for the cold snaps that we get. But it's always helpful to be prepared for swarm season. I know very little about swarms, I can honestly tell you that, but I like freebies, and swarms are very rare here in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, at least from my experience, unless you catch another beekeeper's hive swarms. So on the off chance that I can catch one of those, I'm going to be prepared for it. I'm not holding my breath for any feral colonies to swarm. Very rare to find one, but projects never stop. And although we're still a month away, I decided that today was a good day to get going. Now, as you can probably see there, I hung up a 10-frame Langstroth hive up in a tree. I was going to use a nuke box, but from what I've understood, a nuke box for early swarms, because they can be rather large, is a bit small, and they just won't use it. So I went with, rather than building myself one of those it's almost a double 5-frame nuke boxes. It almost looks like a wood duck box. I like to have my equipment be versatile, so that I can use them for anything. So, you know, I have a 10-frame Langstroth hive, and if I can get it up in a tree, then that's what I'm gonna do. This is the tree. Right above it actually is where I caught my swarm last year, right on that branch that I cut off. So I figured that this was a good spot to hang this hive. Let's go up on a ladder and we'll take a quick look. All it is I just made myself a little, I had some spare 2x4s, and I made a bracket, cut an angle at 45 degrees on each end for a brace, braced it, and then I had some 1/2-inch plywood, and I just, you know, it doesn't have to sit on the whole sheet of plywood, it just needs to have a rest, so that's what I used. It's not like this hive is going to sit up here and get heavy with honey as soon as a hive comes in. Well, I'm going to take it down. As you can see, I've got the bracket strapped to the tree, no nails obviously, and then I have another strap just strapping the hive down to the bracket. Now when it comes down to taking this off, this is going to be a little tricky, because that lid is it's not a migratory lid, it's a telescoping cover, and it can be a little flimsy, and I just, you know, when you're on a ladder and you're trying to take that off, things can get a little dicey, so I've got to be careful, and when I take that strap off, I might re-strap it, just so the lid does not come off when I'm taking this down. What I'm going to be doing today, if you can see this, Right here I'm going to be taping off the entrance so that only can see, we only have like two small entrances on either side, and then and I have some masking tape to do it right here, and then I have a Q-tip, and I'll show you that in a second as soon as I come down off this ladder. And again, I know very, very little about swarms, but I do know that they are attracted to this. And this is called lemongrass oil. It's an essential oil. We put it in sugar syrup if you're open feeding to attract honeybees to it. I do not know exactly what it is that attracts them, but from my guesstimation, I would have to say that it mimics the Nasonoff gland in honeybees. If you've ever noticed them trying to, when you install a new hive, you'll see all the bees on the outside. They start lifting up their hind end and fanning their Nasonoff glands up in the air to basically tell all the other bees, hey, this is home, this is home, this is home. So I have a funny feeling that that's exactly what this does, is mimics that scent of the Nasonoff gland. So what we're going to do is I'm going to dip this Q-tip I got here in my hand on both ends. I'm going to rub the outside of the entrance and then just shove the Q-tip in the entrance on each side, and I'll show you that here in a second. So there we go. I'm just going to dip that in there, and I'm going to dip that in there, and we'll call it good. Now there are other products out in the market, such as Swarm Commander, that you can use that are attractants for swarm lures. This is something I had on hand. I didn't feel like spending $30 on a swarm quite yet. Maybe someday, but not right now. There is also, I have read where you can, if you are requeening a lot, you can take your queens and drop them into some isopropyl alcohol and in a bottle, small bottle with isopropyl, and drop your queens in there and then grind them up, mash them up, whatever you want to do, and you can use that, and apparently that's an attractant as well for swarms, the queen pheromone. So that's an option for a homemade swarm lure. But for me, I'm going with lemongrass. I've seen not scientific studies, but guys who have tried it side by side, lemongrass with the Swarm Commander, and one has not outperformed the other. People have been using lemongrass oil for decades, so why fix what isn't broken, I guess, is my take on it, especially if you happen to have some handy. I got this 4-ounce bottle off of Amazon, and I can't remember what it was. It was like 12 bucks, and I bought it 2 years ago for to add to my sugar syrup for sort of like a honeybee healthy solution, which I don't do anymore. And I'll get into that in another video, but okay, so hopefully you can see there, this is what I've done. I've masked off the entrance to just about you know, 1/2 inch on each end here. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take the lemongrass oil and I'm just going to rub it sort of on the outside of this entrance right here. Okay. And then I'm going to take it and turn it around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm probably going to have to redo this, I'll be honest with you. In another month when it becomes swarm season. And then I'm just going to take the Q-tip and I'm just going to, I broke it in half here. So I got 2 sections and I'm just going to pop it in there. And then I'm going to come around here. I'm going to do the other way and I'm going to pop that in there. There we go. So that's it for the hive, for the swarm trap, and we'll just have to see what happens. I'm not holding my breath, but you know, if you don't have one up, then you will you'll never know if you're going to be successful or not. So I'd also like to point out that when I was filling my 10 frame Langstroth with frames, I picked up some of the I used some plastic frames which I don't really particularly care for, that were drawn out. I used some very old dark comb that I had culled out of my production hives that I was actually going to scrap, but I figured it would make good for swarm traps. And then I also put 3 foundationless frames in there, one on the outside, on each of the outsides, and then one in a few frames in, just to kind of give them some space, I guess. If it's a big enough swarm, you know, this gives them an area to congregate, to hang out, build comb. Keep them busy, keep them wanting to stay there. So that was my reasoning for it. So old dark comb, I've heard that really is a nice attractant to the bees. Until next time, happy beekeeping.